Look around. You can find cars like these on AutoTrader, like that car riding your tail. Or if you're tailgating right now, all those cars doubling as kitchens and living rooms are on AutoTrader too. Are you working out and listening to this ad at the same time? Well, multitasking pro, cars like the ones in the gym parking lot are for sale on AutoTrader. New cars, used cars, electric cars, maybe even flying cars. Okay, no flying cars, but as soon as they get invented, they'll be on AutoTrader. Just you wait. AutoTrader.
Life is made up of many gorgeous moments. Cherish them all, big and small, with Blue Nile. Whether it's for yourself or a loved one, Blue Nile's unrivaled selection of expertly crafted fine jewelry and statement pieces help make all your moments sparkle. Blue Nile's experts are on hand to guide you, and their diamond guarantee ensures you get the highest quality at the best price. Celebrate a life well lived in the most radiant way and save up to 30% at BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com.
O'Reilly.
Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's really cool.
Bonjour, hello, welcome to the Rosbif Rugby Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things French rugby, top 14, Pro de National, bit of Olympic sevens every 4 years or so, and of course all the towns, cities, bars, food, brilliant fans, everything that makes us love French rugby so much. We are here for the series finale, the grand finale of Series 1, Season 1. Series 1 of the Rosbif Rugby Podcast. Thank you for bearing with us. We've got some exciting news on what might just be around the corner. But in the meantime, Rob, the series is drawing to a close. Would you go season a la kind of American TV programs or series like a BBC drama?
I think you and I, in the Rosbif spirit, should be more like kind of Midsummer Murders or
the Inspector Linley Mysteries.
Yeah.
We'll go with series,
or maybe even
series.
What was the big one about police on BBC?
Line of Duty.
Line of Duty. Yeah, that would have been series, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think that would have been series. Did you ever watch Happy
British.
Valley?
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah,
that was series through and through. That
I recently watched The Jetty, which had a slightly similar vibe in terms of how it ended.
Okay.
Without wanting to, I don't think I've given anything away there, but yeah, it was quite dark.
Interesting. How are things otherwise? Sort of
busy.
Yeah, busy.
I think we're both pretty. We were just chatting before this. We're both pretty busy. We are recording this at 10:40 p.m. on a Tuesday evening, which is enjoyable, but that's how much I wanted to get a few last thoughts off my chest for the series, the season. Yeah. How are you, Richard?
Yeah,
you're on holiday
right.
soon. That's why we're taking a break.
Exactly. So I'm off on holiday to Italy to taking a few of the sites, taking a family wedding. Possibly, I have had a look. There's no pre-season rugby, and unfortunately, there's loads of like Serie A pre-season games. They're just all fall on slightly the wrong days.
Serie A football or Serie A rugby?
Serie A football. Sorry, I know. Should clarify.
God, Serie. Oh, shut up. Interesting. Let's not say that. Well, I'll try and not say the name of the Italian football or rugby league. Otherwise, my phone's going to go mental again.
Going to be problematic going forward. So yeah, we're going to take not even a couple of weeks, right? We're going to take a sort of 10-day-ish interlude, and we'll be back bigger, stronger, faster, better than ever on somewhere around like the 21st of August. Beefier. Well, after
You, Richard, might actually come back more like a roast beef because I imagine the temperatures in Italy will be nice and hot to cook your pale English skin
I
to a
think it
nice
will be,
roast beef color.
yeah. I think there'll be a pinky hue going on at least, which I imagine with the sort of imbibing and eating that might be taking place over those 10 days could also yeah, might be a few years off the old life expectancy, but you know, what's it there for
Lowest
if you can't get stuck in?
lowest obesity rate in Europe, the Italians,
Italy,
closely followed by the French,
yeah, I can believe that.
because they they don't
Interesting.
eat crap. They eat shitloads of fat, both of them, but they don't eat rubbish. So it's
This is sorry, this just feels like a prelude to you sort of bestowing the health virtues of foie gras. I feel like that's the next thing that comes after the statement you've just made there.
I mean, a block of foie gras is probably better for you than a tub of Pringles. Yeah.
Yeah, but only one of those can you eat in a cinema.
Yeah, to be fair, Pringles are way too loud for a movie.
Very good. So yeah, before we wrap up for the for series one at a close, Rob, few initial reflections are kind of it's the first time there hasn't been any live rugby of any sort on for the last 11 months. Our French rugby season started at St Pancras International, and a slight accident that happened there before we set off for the World Cup. Things have got better since then, would you say?
Well, I've not got stinking hot coffee on my lap, and on my ruining my t-shirt like you decided to boot over on the train on the Eurostar as we sat down. But yeah, I mean that feels like a long time ago. It's weird. I kind of feel like that almost wasn't French rugby. I don't know if we kind of said this before, but like we were so excited for the World Cup in France because we'd been to France to watch rugby before, but it wasn't because we didn't go to any France games. It didn't quite conjure up the magic of like a Montauban Viagen or a Saxby or like a Toulouse. You know what I mean? Like a or a Stade Marcel Michelin. You know, it's a different vibe when everyone else there is a white, sunburnt, middle class English male. Yeah,
Well, I thought it was a pretty good trip, to be honest. I'm glad.
the country itself is brilliant, but like I think the actual rugby felt that kind of could have been anywhere, if that makes sense. Like once you're in the
Maybe.
stadium, that kind of could have been anywhere. The stadiums are cool, but yeah.
Maybe. I think we were a little bit unlucky with the game. Not unlucky, that sounds incredibly ungrateful, but we didn't see anything hugely close. And the game that was, we really thought was going to be an absolute belter with South Africa, Scotland, was a little bit of a damp squib in the end.
Yeah.
In the glorious sunshine in Marseille, it was all set up to be kind of one for the ages, and it just wasn't. But yeah, 11 months ago, somewhere in the middle between then and now, we decided to set up a Rosbiff Rugby. This is episode 21.
Yeah, I know. 21.
21. Or 2 multiplied by 10 plus 1, as Romeo once said. Do you get that's taken you a while, but yeah.
Yeah, I kind of can't believe we're at 21. We kind of doing our reflections before this. Just a little trip down memory lane. Like some of the early episodes feel like yesterday, but for it to be on number 21 is kind of quite staggering. But yeah, I've enjoyed the chat. I think even today, busy day, it's nice to know I had this at the end of the day to kind of chat a bit of rubbish about French rugby.
Shoot the breeze. I gather you've prepared a bit of a couple of maybe not reflections, but a couple of highlights from your side on the year that was.
I've got my top 3 discoveries from the season, things that I've found,
Okay.
discovered, and then I've got a long list of top three petit-fours. I think I've got a favourite three, but there's a few that could sneak in the long list. But my top three discoveries. Number one was actually before we started Rosbeefs, but it was very much this season. My number one discovery this year is Chartreuse and Genepi, and my newly acquired love for it, and kind of yeah, I would never have expected to like either of them, and now yeah, you know,
Convert.
convert, yeah. That was a nice discovery. Number two, Teo Atisogbe, just feels like he needed a mention. Like if I think of like what I've enjoyed about this season, it has been discovering him, finding like this all-round package of a 19-year-old playing for the team I support, and getting him to like seeing him go to full international, but also kind of having this kind of 5-6 month period where it was like this guy is really good and no one knew about him, like kind of that discovering that indie band that no one else has heard of. And the third one is linked to, so it was a toss up between two. One of them was Latam Barada, but I don't think I can go for that because it's not in France.
Yeah.
And so number three discovery was the town of Prague and GEPCC, Jeunesse Olympique Pradienne Conflans Canigou, which was actually something you found for me as a kind of Sunday afternoon activity to go and watch them in their Fédéral 2 playoff game, like 16th final, last 16 game. But yeah, lovely town, amazing setting for a rugby stadium, really cool community vibe. Just loved it. What a discovery. And I like, yeah, certainly
Ticks all the French rugby boxes.
Yeah, and it kind of made me think that, you know, in future, if those Sunday afternoons where you kind of evening flight, you could just nip out to a nearby town and just watch something else. Because it was just great fun and it was a great atmosphere, and there'll be hundreds of them across France.
Nice. Pretty good list, I reckon. I'd sort of forgotten about the Genepi Chartreuse lunch or whatever you want to call it with the guy. Is it Musette? Is that the name of the
Musette, the restaurant in the market in Lyon. I realized I kind of just went in for that without any context. So we went to Lyon and Grenoble in November for my birthday weekend, and Genepi is made in Grenoble, and I think Chartreuse is as well, or something similar. It's around that area. And we sat down for lunch on Saturday afternoon pre-game, and they had these enormous bottles of Genepi Chartreuse. Genepi is very similar to Chartreuse. It's a kind of herbal liqueur digestif type thing. There was also a Mandarin digestif. And they were kind of 3-litre bottles, 5-litre bottles. They were enormous.
Certainly on the kind of novelty end of the scale.
Yeah, just sat on the bar and we kind of tucked into it. And then the patron, who spoke very good English at Musette, was pretty much free pouring them. Like we were basically having like 4 measures of Chartreuse, and he was kind of telling us to see it off. It was a messy afternoon.
He was good value, great guy. Fantastic food as well, not just like some sort of slightly ropey thing with a guy who likes getting loose. Great food. And he'd spent the prior months serving all the English referees before their games at the Matmut or whatever it's called. Not the Matmut. Is it another Matmut
Matmut's
stadium?
the rugby one. It was the football stadium, wasn't it? The Lyon stuff, because they're all in football stadiums.
Yeah. What's it? I can't remember what the name of the football stadium is called. It's just Stade Lyonnais or
sort of Stade de Lyon or something like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, good discoveries. I'll give you that.
Any
One of them
reflections
was mine, but
yeah, fair. Yeah, but I went there, so I actually technically discovered it. I definitely discovered Teo Atazogbe before you.
yeah, I'll give you
I'm
that.
claiming him. Any kind of reflections of your own, Richard?
Uh, Maybe a little bit. Mine's slightly more on my kind of top three is not necessarily discoveries, but I think just sort of highlights across the spectrum. So I've got the first one, actually the first day of that trip to the World Cup. We had one night in Paris, the Moose sports bar, watching France turn over the All Blacks in what must have been the world's hottest room. And just, good fun at the time, but I think there's something with hindsight, kind of how good that trip was. Visited some great places, some great stadiums, and it was all kind of, it was all there in front of you. The optimism, the unbridled optimism of the French at the World Cup was there on show, with them kind of dispatching New Zealand. Yeah, that was great. So that's my kind of number three. My number two is
When you mentioned the night in Paris, I thought you were going to mention the little small plates Basque tapas bar that we went to round the corner from the Moose, with the kind of
block of butter.
Block of butter, but kind of like a pre oh my god, pre-pottery sculpting clay shape, but just a butter just on the bar for you to hack at as you wish, which was amazing.
Yeah, it was good. That was a wicked place, actually. I think wasn't that a
Charles Richardson
recommendation via Twitter of Charles Richardson, the Telegraph journalist. That was a fantastic place to eat. The second one, my second highlight, is just back to Bayonne. You mentioned the Tom Barada in San Sebastian. Maybe doesn't count, not least because I can't really remember the end of it. But it was an amazing, what an incredible feat, or in kind of incredible event. Also shows to go the value of your persistence in wearing French rugby kit got us a long way that day, because about three of the kind of best hours of that day were sat around a table chewing the fat with a load of big family from kind of the Basque country, who invited us over because they saw your Section Palois hat, and many red wines and many ciders later. So there you go.
Always where you full history of the Tamburrada and the Basque culture is incredible, actually.
Yeah, a few slightly dicey stories as well, which probably save for another time.
Kind of highlights, though, that if you get talking to French people, and they are just so willing to chat to you and tell you about their country and their culture, it's really cool.
Or Basque people specifically in this situation. But even after all that, even after the extravagances of the Tom Barada, just Bayonne is such a fantastic rugby town. I know it's been said a million times, but the place itself is stunning. Like, it's the perfect size just to kind of mooch about from, a couple of spots, enjoying a few drinks on the river, and the ground itself just simply doesn't disappoint. And their kit shop is wicked. So
we were blessed with some great. Bearing in mind it was January, we were blessed, and it was bloody freezing in Biarritz on the Friday night, like properly cold. But Sunday afternoon before the Chiefs Bayonne game was delightful. T-shirts, yeah,
it was beautiful. And then I'm going to go as my sort of, not necessarily my own personal highlight, but I think the standout moment in the French rugby calendar this year. And I'm not going to go for the Sevens final, but the Heineken Cup final and the extra time, with our man Antoine Tony D at the forefront of everything. Just like a proper, I think on reflection, even more so, like just a ridiculous game for the ages. One that I think will live long in the memory, more than the majority of those finals. So yeah, they're my three reflections on the year. Not reflections, memories.
Nice. I thought for a minute there, Richard, you were going to mention the Bordeaux v Toulouse game and the Matmut Atlantique in about late March, which you seem to have referenced on every single
It was so
podcast.
good. It was such a good game. No, I think unfortunately the memory of that is now so distant, given what happened in Marseille not a few
Yeah,
weeks back, that I've had to part that one for now. But that was probably the game I enjoyed watching the most if I had to pick one.
very good. Have you had any thoughts on your favourite petit-fours?
Well, I can't. My memory isn't great on these things, so maybe you give us your list, and I'll sort of just nod along or vehemently disagree.
Okay, so I can give you the ones that have missed out.
Okay.
Uh, Also, a few of these you were away for, but working backwards, Mathieu Reynal and the end photo with the
Yeah.
Ray-Bans and the cigar was excellent. The next one is possibly the closest to getting in the final three, but Sofiane Katoun brushing his teeth on the all day in Toulouse,
Nice.
which was just remarkable. Francois Hollande chinning a pint on the campaign trail in a rugby club,
Yeah.
very enjoyable. One that was a bit nicer, but the whole Thibaut Dabagne doing the Olympic torch in Po, a man that's played for Po since he was 5, celebrating his 30th, and I celebrated my 30th in Po. That symmetry with us and how different.
Such symmetry.
Yeah, yeah. Maxime Lucu in a wig. That was enjoyable.
Oh,
At the
that
football,
was good.
dressed as Sandy from Greece. That was
With
enjoyable.
Nons de Quang.
Yeah. Sean Aidendorf winning the Player of the Month for Carcassonne, I think it was, and having to do a shoot in Media Clinic, basically the French equivalent Dixon's, which was a very funny photo. The haircut at the Rouen match,
That's
which
a
was
good
just
one.
outstanding. Another one that was very close to making my final three, but Barnaby Kuyu looking for his tooth just around the halfway line post-match, just carrying a bottle of water, just scouring the turf to see if he could find the tooth that had been knocked out during the game. The best of the April Fools was the mullet quotas April Fool to be brought into Pro Day 2. And then a nice one that also missed out was Evan Olmsted not coming back
Yes, I thought
after his sin bin over half time because he was whisked away for the birth of his child.
I'll be honest, I thought that might make your top three. I'd forgotten there was a sin bin involved.
I literally forgot that until I read it just now. Yeah.
Sin bin is like, oh, better use this time wisely.
That is outstanding, actually. Like,
it's pretty good.
He got sin bin on like the 38th minute as well. Like, yeah. If anyone doubted that God exists, there it is. So the top three, these are my top three. The backflip dive into the sea onto the shield of one of the lower league French teams. It is just phenomenal. I feel like I haven't reposted the video, but it's the French tradition of damaging the shield or the trophy that you've won. The guy lobs, or one of his mate lobs it, and it's about like
decent height.
It's more than 6 foot. Like, and he lobs the shield into the sea. The guy is on top of the boat, and he does a backflip and lands it perfectly. My TV's just gone on. Hang on. Can you hear that?
Yes, I can. Yeah. Excuse us, listeners. Well, Rob sorts out his increasingly haunted house. He's back.
Apologies. I'm back. But yes, he lands the backflip perfectly. We'll edit that out. But
nice.
He lands the backflip perfectly on the shield. The next one is, do you remember how Christophe Urios prepared for Clermont's Challenge Cup quarter-final game?
Was this the cheese and wine night or something?
The food and wine festival being hosted at Bourg-en-Bresse Rugby Club, or US Bressan, which I think was the Thursday night before their early Saturday afternoon kickoff. Christoph Urias was doing a
Sublime.
talk about wine and his specifically his wine and his vineyard. And my final one, which I think you never quite got because you were away, but the photo after the Bayonne Ham Festival, which was just it's effectively like a kind of London Welsh second 15, sort of that sort of level. And there's two teams on the Basque border the day after the Bayonne Ham Festival, and after 35 minutes, it is like a war scene. It is outstanding. I will try and summarize all of those into some sort of post maybe, or some sort of video, because they all deserve, all of those, that full list deserves some real merit. But yeah, that when I saw that Bayonne Hamfest, that photo, it takes you a little bit of time to like work out what the hell's going on. And when you realize what's going on, you're like, oh my God, those lads are in real trouble. Like, they're just bent over. They're all like lying on the floor 30 minutes into a game. Yeah, fantastic.
Delightful. Beautiful. All the
any out of that you tickled your fancy, Richard?
I think,
or jogged the memory of any?
Right now, it's got to be, isn't it? Like a recent one. It was so good. Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's definitely a few that have snuck under. I'd forgotten about the Rouen haircut as well, which is,
I'd forgotten about that. Yeah,
so good. Yeah, plenty.
The application
where that
for the
came
horse, the application for the I can't remember the
Bayonne
name of it.
horse. I can't remember his name.
Horse,
Yeah,
that was that's
I
that's
wonder if anyone, if you did get that job after you heard about it on Rosbif Rugby, then let us know. Or if you know who did, be intrigued to know what the criteria was eventually. Because as we said before, that horse is, I can't remember the official name. It's like a Basque horse name or something. That horse's behavior was pretty rogue. When we've seen him on telly and when we were there in the ground. So I don't know, maybe they're looking for a slightly different approach this year. Maybe each candidate can bring their own sort of flavour to it. But yeah, interested to see which direction they go. Because if they want even more outrageous, like we're in for a treat next season.
Maybe more acrobatics, because he was a bit dodgy. That was kind of part of the novelty of it, that his acrobatics were a little bit crap. Maybe they want a kind of trained stuntman.
Possibly. Alrighty. We're basically there. Rob, Series 2 preview. What have we got? What have we got coming up in a few weeks for the avid Rosbiff listener?
So 2024-2025 season in the UK is obviously, and Ireland is obviously, a Lions year. They are touring Australia, and let's be honest, no one's that excited about that. So we are going to be we're going to be debating what a Lions tour to France, which would be the ultimate Lions tour for fan and player, what that would look like. And we've got a special guest to join us, giving a British but not necessarily English Rosbeef perspective. A guy who's travelled a lot around France and has written on it extensively in one of the major UK written media publications. I think, are we naming him? I don't know. Thought I'd leave it at that.
Maybe not, because if it all goes wrong, that would look pretty stupid, which has happened before.
Yeah.
So that should be, so join us in a couple of weeks to listen through that. We've also got a couple of other guests in the pipeline, as well as obviously your weekly fill of petit-fours, digestifs, updates from around the grounds, and obviously we'll be doing a full preview of both Pro Day and the top 14 in due course as well. So stand by. Hopefully,
special guests for each of those.
Exactly. And hopefully, touch wood, a few more insights from various trips that we can get in the calendar, and getting stuck into some of the big European away days as well. Yeah, exciting times, Rob.
I'm looking forward to getting back out to France, I have to say.
It's
Feels
been
like it's been
It's
ages.
been weeks.
And been 3 months since I was last in France, which feels like a long time.
Yeah, that's far too long. Alrighty, any closing thoughts before we sign off?
None from me. Just enjoy your break, Richard, and enjoy. I hope everyone's going to be all right with a week off without podcasts a thin on the ground. You know, we've been fulfilling a vital service for some people, including myself. Just giving some content to listen to.
Self-serving in the best way possible. Cool, thank you. Yes, I will enjoy it and look forward to getting back for that Series 2 kickoff, the Lion special, and some more fun discussions afterwards. Thank you everyone for listening over the past, whatever it is, 21 weeks, which is actually quite a lot, isn't it? Let's say we'll be back very soon. Thank you to the guests we've had this year, Zach Farrance and Steve Cummins. We'll try and diversify from just the second row as we proceed into Series 2. But yeah, that's it. I've been Richard, that's been Rob. We've been at the Rosbiff Rugby podcast, and we'll see you in a few weeks. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.